Welcome to Basically a Therapist, but without the degree. I am your host, Lauren Larson, and today's episode might step on a few toes, including my own. And we are talking about when it's not about you. And have you ever had one of those moments where something feels off with someone? Maybe they're acting distant or they're not texting back. Maybe they looked a little weird or just off in the last conversation, and instantly, and I mean instantly, you just start spiraling. Like, okay, what did I do? Did I say something offensive? Did I do something wrong? Was there something that I did? Whatever. And then you start replaying every single detail in your head like a movie on repeat, rewinding, playing, rewinding, playing, rewinding, playing. And you're analyzing everything. And I'm talking tone, I'm talking timing, punctuation. Meanwhile, they were probably just like tired or hungry or distracted or just going through something that had absolutely nothing to do with you. Please, please tell me that I'm not the only one who does this. It is something that I have struggled with for forever. And I think what happens is we assume the gap must be about us. We fill in the silence with self-blame. And it's wild because half the time, probably most of the time, the person might not even be thinking about us at all. Like for real. Like we're over here writing a whole emotional novel and they're just trying to get through a rough week, or making sure they can pay their bills, or going through relationship issues, or fill in the blank. It's humbling, right? I remember once a friend went quiet for a bit, and immediately I was like full FBI mode. Like, okay, what was the last thing I said? Did I sound off? Maybe I should check in just in case I offended them. And then come to find out, they were dealing with something completely personal. And I just felt so silly, maybe annoyed, realizing, oh, it wasn't about me. I wasted all of this time. I wasted all of this energy on something that was not even about me. And that's what I want to unpack today. Why we make it about us and how we stop doing that from both an emotional standpoint and a spiritual standpoint. Because did you know that this is a form of pride? Now, I know when I say it's pride, some of you are like, Lauren, how? That doesn't even make sense. But I want you to hang with me for a minute. See, pride isn't just, I think I'm amazing. Look how great I am. Look at everything I can do. Look at everything I have. I'm wonderful. I'm awesome. It's also, I think everything somehow connects back to me. It's the belief, even if it's subconscious, that we're the main character in everyone else's story. And that is a punch to the gut. And when I first learned that low self-esteem can still be a form of pride, woo, child, that one hurt. Because pride isn't about thinking highly of yourself. It's about thinking of yourself constantly. It's self-preoccupation. You know, C.S. Lewis said, humility is not thinking less of yourself, but it's thinking of yourself less. And I love that because it helps us realign our focus. So when somebody pulls back or acts differently, and we instantly make it about us by going into what did I do mode, it's not humility. It's actually centering us again. We've made their story about us. And what if that friend didn't text back because maybe they're overwhelmed? What if that coworker didn't say hi because they were just rushing to a meeting, or maybe their morning was crazy with the kids and whatever, trying to get them out the door? What if your spouse isn't distant because they're anxious or they're processing something internally, or there's an issue at work, or there's other issues that aren't about us, that have nothing to do with us? We assume offense when the truth is people are fighting battles we can't see. And it's not that your feelings aren't valid, because they are. But your feelings sometimes aren't accurate. Your feelings are meant to be data, not definition. Our feelings are supposed to tell us something, not define us, not define something. And that's why Proverbs 3:5 says, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding, because your understanding might tell you they're mad at me. But God's truth says maybe it's not about you. Maybe God is doing something in them or with them. And that's why there's this difference with making it a God focus versus our focus. Because when we make everything about us, even the negative stuff, we are robbing God of his rightful center stage in our lives and in other people's lives. Because now the focus isn't on him and how he's working in someone else's life, how he's showing up for them. Now we've turned the focus on how we feel about what he's doing indirectly. And let's be honest, some of us, we need to pray, Lord, help me stop inserting myself into every emotional mystery. Whew. That'll preach. We do it out of anxiety, we do it out of insecurity, or we do it out of this need for control. But God is calling us to maturity. He's calling to emotionally sanctify us, to be so deeply rooted in him that when something feels off, we can pause and say, okay, God, help me see this rightly. Help me not assume it's about me. Give me your eyes to see and your ears to hear, God. And that shift alone will save you so much unnecessary stress and broken peace and just overwhelm and stressing yourself out and spiraling and just completely exhausting yourself. There is so much freedom in not taking things personally. When you realize it's not about you, you get free. You get free from overanalyzing, free from the need to fix, free from carrying burdens that aren't yours to carry. And of course, obviously, we have the perfect model for this, and it's Jesus. What's the answer, folks? Jesus. Jesus modeled this perfectly. Of course he did. People misunderstood him. People betrayed him, accused him, and he didn't take it personally. Why? Because he knew who he was and what his assignment was. He knew he was sent by God, and he answered to God and God alone. And so do we, folks. We only answer to God. We were sent by God. We are assigned by God. And we answer to God and God alone. And when you know that your identity is in God, you stop auditioning for clarity in other people's behavior. You stop being addicted to closure. And let's be real for a second. Closure is a luxury, right? Like sometimes you're just never going to get closure. There's a lot of things on this side of heaven that we're just never going to get closure on, let alone closure in relationships or friendships or in the workplace or whatever. It's a luxury. It's not owed to us. Sometimes we're not going to get closure, but peace. Now, peace is always available when you surrender your need to know why. And so how do we practice this? And I want to provide a couple of quick steps for you. Number 1, pause. I feel like that's always the answer. Just pause, because we're so quick to react. We're so quick to rush in. We're so quick to build a story. Pause before personalizing. The next time someone's energy shifts or feels off, pause. Breathe. Center yourself. Don't instantly assume it's about you. Ask yourself, could this be about something else? Could something else be going on here? And the answer is probably like 90% of the time, yeah, for sure. Number 2 is to pray for perspective. Instead of saying, Lord, show me what I did wrong, let's shift it. Lord, show me what they might be going through and how I can respond with grace. And then 3, redirect your focus to God. When you start shining that spotlight back towards yourself, lift your eyes. Remind yourself that this story might not be mine to fix. There's a lot of power in that. When you can stop and pause and realign with God and recenter your identity on God, not on their potential reaction, not on how they're behaving, what they could possibly be thinking or feeling. When you can realign and say, my identity is a child of God and nothing can get in the way of that. The only opinion that matters of me is God's. When we get so secure, when we stand so firm in that, man, we are unshakable. We can look at somebody and say like, hey, I'm sorry you're struggling, or hold space for them and not make it about us. Because most of the time it's not. It's not about you. It's not about me. Many, many times. Are there times where we mess up and we've done something? Yes, of course. But if not, if you know that your conscience is clear, more times than not, it's not even about you. Think about it. Think about your life. Think about all the stuff that you have going on, the stress, the feelings, the overwhelm, the exhaustion, maybe the traveling, or maybe the kids, or maybe the spouse, or money stuff. Like, who knows? There is so much in this life that's happening culturally and politically and religiously. Like, it's just heavy. We're in a heavy time in general, and then let alone add personal issues on top of that. It's tough. Everybody is fighting a battle we can't see. We're all out here in these streets struggling. And so if you've been caught in that cycle of overthinking, of spiraling, replaying interactions, you're not alone. We all do it, including me. It is my specialty. I am not proud of it. I have lost I've had many sleepless nights. I have exhausted myself thinking and replaying and rewinding and thinking and replaying and rewinding. But maybe God's inviting you to step out of that role. Step out of the role of the one responsible for everyone's moods. Step back into being a vessel of peace. Because a lot of people are just looking for peace. They're looking for hope. They're looking for somebody to just listen, to just sit with them in whatever it is they're going through. And it's not about dismissing your empathy. It's just about stewarding it better. And maybe that's how we grow. maybe that's how we grow in learning that not everything needs to be analyzed. Some things just need our surrender. And so the next time that voice creeps in and says, what did I do wrong? Try responding and rewriting and saying, probably nothing. It's probably not about me this time. Like, what a crazy concept, right? It's insane. Well, friends, that's all that I have for today. If this hit home for you, share it with someone who is also an overthinker. Like this episode, share it with a friend, subscribe to the channel, and thank you for being here today. And I will see you next week. Bye. Yeah.